The brothers Wisp. The brothers Wisp, brothers Wisp. The brothers Wisp. The brothers.
You're now listening to Greg, it's the Brothers Wisp. Let's take a ride through space on this mothership. Wireless network.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy. Just a quick word about thanking for support. Patreon.com/The Brothers Wisp. Thank you everybody so much for supporting us over the years and making this show able to happen. I hope you guys really appreciate the new mics that all that money has gone into, and it's really improved things, and I'm hoping to continue to keep improving things and improving Arcadians. Also, we do have our sponsors. The Brothers Wisp is brought to you by Sonar, a scalable, intuitive, and comprehensive ISP billing and operational support system. Learn more at Sonar.Software. Tower Coverage is your RF propagation system to empower your network. Real-time data metrics enable your coverage area, reaching your customer base, and more. The industry's best RF propagation mapping system allows website and integration for customer sign-up and pre-qualification. Use this data to scientifically plan network expansion and help your WISP succeed. Get a free trial today at towercoverage.com. Last but far from least, Preseam is a cloud-based quality of experience platform that helps regional fixed wireless and fiber operators manage subscribers and optimize network health across access technologies and vendors. A 4-time winner of WISPA's Service of the Year award, Preseam provides data-powered tools and insightful KPIs that help reduce support and training costs, drive growth, and benefit every team at an ISP. Visit preseam.com for more details.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy with the Brothers Wisp here at WISPAPalooza 2024. I've got McKenzie, I got Tomas, Kirnak, and I got Dennis. The show's been wild, and I'm starting to feel it. I'm ready to go home.
Yeah. I slept for 10 hours this night. I went into a coma.
Welcome to the club. I did the same thing.
10 hours?
No,
Yeah.
we went out to get food at night. We came back to the room. It was like 10:30 p.m. I started feeling tired, so I'm like, oh, I'll take a power nap, and woke up 6:30 in the morning. I'm like, yeah, that was a decent power nap.
Yeah, yep. There you go.
Nice.
I tried to do that. I went to bed at, it was like 8:45, 9 o'clock. I crashed out, and I woke up at like 11:30. Was up for like 2 hours.
Hate to say we're all getting old.
Yeah, I know.
We've been doing this for so long.
Standing at the booth for a whole day,
Yeah.
it is exhausting.
Yeah. Walking around.
I was at the back corner of the exhibit hall when it opened yesterday. It took me an hour and a half just to get to my booth because as I started walking, someone would say, "Hey, Dennis," and then you end up talking to them for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Yep.
Yeah. So what's been the coolest thing you've seen here at the show so far? I can go first. If you
guys are wisps.
I have two things that have excited me, and one I kind of saw a precursor to the show, and Thomas's new terminal emulator has been something that's been pretty exciting for me. So I've been, kind of skirting around the edges of deploying Unimus for probably 2 years now, and we finally got a new CTO, and we're going to be moving on that here in the near future. So I'm excited for that to come right along, some new features. And then I think the other really interesting thing is, I'm probably going to butcher the name here, but Terra.
Yeah.
That is, so I just came from the keynote, and I wasn't aware that they were a kind of a offshoot of Alphabet's Moonshot Starter X. Yep. So that was, Free Space Optics. They were like, we've got a bad reputation we want to overcome. So I hope it works for WISPs.
I guess I'll have to ask, what are they about?
So it's a free space optical backhaul radio.
20 gigabits per second.
20 gigabits per second, and the number that I was hearing thrown around was about $45,000 a link, which is about $2,200 a gig, which is very competitive.
Yeah.
And distance, I think they were saying out to like 6 or 7 miles. So places where you're doing E-band, you can do it further.
I'm pretty sure you can get a 10 gig free space optic for around 10 grand. They're not.
And
Is
I mean,
that
it's not new technology.
Is that the
it's
well, but also
Trans-Celestial
what's
guys?
the? I was gonna say what's the?
but they
What's your
usually
link distance and
they
what is
usually
your,
go about 5 or 6 miles.
and what's the
It depends on
reliability
your
on
zone,
that?
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Well,
Like,
fog, yeah, good luck.
we're sitting there like, can we do this in Fairbanks, Alaska, where it's neg 40 in the winter, neg 50 in the winter, and 90 degrees in the summer, and there's tremendous amount of snow.
Yeah, the snow will affect it a little bit. Fog is the big
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
So
Apparently, sandstorms are not like dust and smog and stuff. It's not because it's
not an
a
issue.
infrared laser
yeah.
that they're using, and apparently that goes through sand and dust and smog and such just fine.
yeah. But I know plenty of
There's
people that
other
use
options
the
out there,
10 gig
yeah.
free space optics, and they do work, but they don't work well on towers.
'Cause of the
Typically the
movement?
towers move just too much. You typically have to have very stable locations, like high rises.
Buildings
Once you get
or-
above like 50 stories, all of a sudden the movement can affect
So what's
it.
interesting with this one is the visualization on their website shows that it's able to make micro adjustments for the actual, like they were visualizing it as like a projection spotlight of the IR basically, and it's able to make micro adjustments to it to maintain that link. I think probably what's more exciting for me than the technology itself or this specific technology is that there are people pushing into this space, and hopefully we'll see other options or some improvements from other pre-existing options to push that boundary, because who doesn't want 20 gigs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
maybe you can avoid having to dig underneath a railroad, and you can do a 20 gig link to either side.
Yeah, or just having to not like shooting like their example, which was shooting over water. Laying fiber across a lake is expensive.
Yes.
We have customers doing it.
Yes.
And
Now they need to figure out a way to make it go really far from Seattle to Alaska.
So we need to bounce off the ionosphere away. That's very low frequency.
Yeah. What else? Just those two?
Yeah, I haven't attended as many sessions and booths as I have historically. Unfortunately, I've just been like probably the same boat as Dennis, as you get stopped every 2 minutes trying to go to places. So there wasn't anything else that I didn't get an opportunity to actually go see it, but a number of people messaged me about some of the new Cambium products that are coming down the pipeline.
Yeah.
And those look pretty
Evo.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, their new Evo line.
And like I think they have a product that was capable of operating in 3 gigahertz as well as 6 or 5/6 gigahertz.
They're literally going to have
tri-band.
carrier aggregation across
All 3
three
bands.
six 365, 5 gig, and 6 gig.
Which I think that's tremendously important for our industry with BEAD coming down the pipeline, is the ability to show that you have the coverage that's in a licensed spectrum, but then also being able to have those higher capacity, larger channel with options available to really deliver last mile.
So
And get them managed by somebody's software.
yeah, you're gonna have to do a lot of management.
Yeah.
So what did you like, Thomas?
Well, he stole Tara from me.
Sorry.
Man, I was so excited.
I think I stole it from everyone.
Yeah, I was like, because I've seen I saw those ones from Google's Loon stuff, and I was like, oh man, they're here. That's super cool. And I tried to get an interview with them, but they're like, well, we gotta ask the Google bosses. Probably not.
You sit there and think about this. I wonder what Elon's using on Starlink, because they're supposed to have free space optics between lasers between each satellite.
Yeah, all the new ones.
I'm sure that's all custom, but it's
Maybe.
just kind of one of those interesting little
Obvious.
little thought processes. What kind of off the shelf stuff can you use?
With their expertise designing the satellites themselves and
Yeah,
all the radio
yeah.
stuff, it has to be their own custom
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So,
It's going to be the most cost-effective way for them to do
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
they can tailor it to exactly what they need, right? It's different doing FSO like within and outside of the atmosphere.
Inside, outside
Yeah.
the atmosphere,
Yeah.
he's trying to get the FCC approval to lower all the satellites by like 30 kilometers.
30, 50 kilometers.
Yeah. He says that's going to drop latency from 33 to under 20.
Yeah,
So
it'll be interesting to see. Interesting to see.
It's going to be, it is a wild space. But I would say I was just interacted with this new billing customers OSS software, Gaia. I haven't gotten to do an interview with them yet, possibly right before the show floor opens. But from the sounds of it, some people are pretty excited to see them and have them here, and they have something pretty cool. Do you guys know anything about Gaia?
no.
I saw their booth, and that's about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I've seen them at, I think they were at WISP America, and possibly the prior WISPAPalooza. I've talked to them a little bit about it.
Okay.
I don't have anything specific to share on, but it is nice to see pressure in that space, in the CRM space, and seeing there's Gaia, there's WISP.net, there's Sonar, there's Splinks, there's PowerCode.
Yeah, there's tons of
PowerCode's
options.
coming out with their next generation EVO I2 software. So there's apparently a fair amount of competition in that space, and I think at the end of the day, like, it's probably not great for those companies, but it's wonderful for us as WISPs because we have options that we can go choose, and there's a real push to make sure that those options are developing the feature sets we want and really starting to be able to tie into other areas through APIs and other methods.
Yeah.
So
Oh, like you said, like, to be honest, probably all of us know that, like, in this particular area, I don't know of anybody that would be like 100% happy with what they have. Like, each software has
Pluses and minuses.
plus and cons,
Yep.
pros and cons. So
Yep.
like, on one side, fragmentation has pros and cons as well, right? Yeah, it
Yep.
will definitely force more competition on the existing solutions, and maybe as customers we benefit. On the other side,
fingers crossed, knock on wood.
We have lots of customers that ask us, what billing system should we use? And I sit there and say, the very first thing you need to do is you need to get with all of your staff, and you need to go over feature sets that you must have.
Right.
And then you need to go over the feature sets that, hey, it would be nice to have, scheduling, or it'd be nice to have inventory, or those types of extra features. And then once you get all that done, then you go into, hey, these are really cool things. And then go to all the vendors and talk to them and say, hey,
Can you meet these
can you meet
requirements?
can you meet all my requirements? Can you meet any of my would be nices? Can you meet any of the, that's just really cool to do, But I'm like, you can't sit there and when a consulting customer comes to me and they say, what billing system should I use?
The one that's best for you.
Yeah,
I hate to say like the right tool for the toolkit.
Right. But
that's such an
they don't
overused
know,
word, but-
they don't even know how to start evaluating in such. So,
What you should tell them is come to WISPA.
well, I typically do.
You want to know which billing software to pick, come to WISPA and talk to them.
Yeah.
at some point, it's just you have to pick one and test it out, and if it
Yep.
doesn't work, move on.
And most of them seem very open to giving you
Trials,
good demos
yeah.
and giving you trials. More importantly, the trials
yeah.
is an ability to go in and, like, 'cause everybody at WISPA is here because we're nerds and we like turning the dials and knobs, right? Like, that's who we are. And so, there's only so much you can get out of a visual demo. It's like, no, I want to go walk around in the system and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm going to pick on Microtech here, but now that we have Winbox 4,
Oh, I love it.
the very first iterations we couldn't even use.
Yeah.
Because they eliminated the groups, which is very big for us as consultants, because we have, our list is, several thousand routers, and we always sorted by customer, by group. Yeah. And, they've backtracked, and I know there's a little conflict between the graphics guys because they want it to look pretty, and, I want to click as minimal as possible to get to what I need to get to.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. For anybody out there listening, tags are important. There should be a way to tag things for searching. But I like Winbox 4 simply because now I have a native Winbox that runs on macOS and runs well on macOS, which I'm thrilled about.
Well, you could just swap it for Windows and it'll work just fine.
But then, like, VLANs on Windows, just trying to fight with Realtek drivers to get VLANs functioning on Windows.
Well, there's the problem. Realtek drivers.
Yeah, I know. But I can go buy an Apple product, and the VLANs are there. So,
Yeah,
anyways.
I understand. But yeah, I mean,
tool for a toolkit.
I've never had an issue with Winbox, and even on our Linux boxes that we do have a few of, the Wine emulation works fine.
Wine? Yeah, I
But,
mean,
yeah.
I installed it through Brew, and it was fantastic. It's just cool to have, like, it's cool to see that there's an actual focus
Native.
from within
Yeah.
MikroTik that's able to sit down and be like, yeah, we're going to build this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The only product that I've seen that is of interest to me is there is it's not a CMTS, but it's a the cable interop system where you have Ethernet ports. You get 2.5 gig up down on each individual RF port, and the costs are relatively inexpensive. Now you can only have 31 clients per port. It's not a CMTS. It's not that type of system. But for like in a building or in my case, hotels, in those types of things where there is no existing cable or the only cable is coax, those types of solutions are really cool, and the cost is reasonable.
So what's the name of that company?
I have no idea. I'd have to go find them again.
So is it functionally a Ethernet over coax solution?
Yeah, it's a MoCA
Yeah,
solution.
okay.
So it's an Ethernet over coax, but they have a 4-port and an 8-port unit,
Oh, nice.
and the cost is like the CPEs or the CPEs. They're like $150.
Okay.
So the cost is in line with what a hotel or a organization that doesn't want to recable
Could afford.
could afford.
Yeah.
So
We just rolled out our first MoCA solution in the past like 12 months, and it was a very small. It was a 2 4-unit buildings.
Yeah.
It worked flawlessly, and we got instant connectivity. Like it was the first time we had a scenario where we had to do it, and it was like, okay, we're gonna try this, and yeah, it's a cool thing to use.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I still prefer running Cat 5 or Cat
yeah,
6.
I mean, it's
So much more
right. I mean, that's just going to be so much better. But the issue is, especially in some of these old,
you can't.
we do service a lot of hotel chains, and some of these buildings. I mean, we're lucky we have Cat 3 for a phone line in them.
Or they're historical and
Yeah,
you might not be able
yeah.
to. Then like
So if you have existing coax, then it typically will work. So and then you don't have to put in a like the D-Link thing. It's kind of, I don't know. I think it's kind of consumer grade, if that makes sense. And this is a little bit more business grade with a controller, and then you have up to 4 strands or 8 strands that going out. But again, most of the hotels we're talking about, maybe 100 rooms. So, you got 4 ports. You're golden on that.
Yeah.
So, and you don't need an AP. I mean, if we're running APs, we're not running we're not running units to every room. You're basically running it to every other room and then putting an AP in each room. So,
Yeah. So what about you, Kirnak? What's cool?
Yeah, to go with the group, Tara was really nice. So I was telling Tommy yesterday, the last time I personally ran FSO was back in 2006, 7-ish. And we used to run 10 Mac FSO links between apartment buildings. So it was fog rolled out, complete outage. but it used a visible guiding laser, so during fog you could actually see the lasers across the buildings. And that was a different age, different time. And I've kept tabs on FSO stuff ever since. Never had a good deploy opportunity. Cost versus everything else that goes on with FSO. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for that.
I'm kind of curious, why is FSO so expensive? I mean, lasers are not that.
It's everything around. You mentioned it a little bit before. So the encoding, decoding stuff into laser optics, and for high power, long distance links, which they are if it's FSO. Also the mirrors and the micro adjustment, micro motors, and all of that goes into it, and software. And of course, it's a rather niche area compared to wireless and Ethernet and everything else, and that just makes stuff more expensive.
you got 10,000 RF radios compared to one,
Yeah,
every
true.
one, you know,
Yeah.
free
And
space
the
optic.
optics are pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, high quality glass is not. You go look
Yeah.
at cameras.
Yep.
You go look at a high quality prime camera zoom lens. I mean, those are like in the $12,000 range plus. So it's, yeah, glass is expensive. Good glass. Good glass.
glass,
Yeah,
yeah.
good glass
Yeah.
is expensive.
Yeah.
And you definitely want that if you're trying to do FSO.
But yeah, I am hopeful that maybe this will bring more innovation, and then of course with innovation and more market saturation, prices maybe come down. Like I like the technology. I wish it was more utilized or more available, right?
Yeah.
Because that goes hand in hand, the pricing versus where and how you
Right.
can deploy it, and yeah.
Well, and if there's a need for it and the market starts picking it up and using it, then we'll see more. That'll roll back into more innovation, more companies wanting to pursue it, and maybe a little bit of a decrease in price.
Well,
We'll hope.
let's see. We've had Cambium's got Evo stuff. We talked about that, right?
Tarana,
Tarana's got the
RNV,
RNV.
or RN5, I'm not sure.
Yeah, V, I think is what they call it.
Okay.
Don't remember.
So
$400. Does that make
And-
Tarana useful for you?
we're not doing much 5 gig deploys in general right now.
Really?
They have 365, and they have 6 gig too.
Yes, but and I'm not saying specifically to try. I'm just saying in general when you're looking at what WISPs are having to do right now to, at least in the U.S. specifically for the U.S. listeners, with BEAD coming down the pipeline and with all the other potential overbuilds or us pursuing funding opportunities, us as WISPs, is you have to be showing that you're using technology that your broadband office and the NTIA are going to accept as reliable. And that's not, unfortunately, that's not unlicensed. So 5 gigahertz and 6 gigahertz don't fit that criteria. You have to look at alternative technologies, which makes it a little bit challenging to, like, for me personally, not speaking on behalf of the company, but for me personally, it's hard to be excited about 5 gig products right now, just because of the challenges that we're facing in the industry of, like,
Well,
deploying
they're,
those.
they're artificial challenges created by
No, 100%.
the government.
Yeah,
I mean, it
no.
sucks,
It's,
but
it's
it
not
is
that
what
it's
it
not
is.
an unusable, and really,
Yeah.
like, is it an unreliable technology?
No.
No. Everybody at this conference has built, like, functional, burgeoning, growing businesses off of these products and that frequency, and have done a tremendous amount of work that large telcos chose not to do.
Yeah. That said, there's also plenty of egg on the whole industry's face of bad actors who,
Fair.
using 5 gigahertz to, have terrible service.
Fair.
So-
Yeah, but
No, that's usually not 5 gigahertz. That's usually their design.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
It's not the frequency. The frequency is not a fault. It's the
Yeah.
the
Goes
business
hand in
decision.
hand, though.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I think, taking a step back, it's exciting to see movement in that space, and I'm sure that there are operators out there that are very excited about having that as a viable product that they can deploy.
Yeah.
So,
And so at their presentation, they were saying 140,000 CPE products as remote nodes RNs, and then like just under 50,000 total base nodes, access points.
have been deployed.
Yeah,
Impressive.
that they have, and all of those are sending data back to them, and they're using and looking at that data. So keep that in mind.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where are they
It's
based-
just somebody
where are they
else's
based out of?
computer.
Tirana,
Yeah.
They've got offices in
they got
Texas and it's
Cali?
like Cali or Seattle. I can't remember.
I
Or, sorry,
think
Cali
it's
and
somewhere in
Washington.
California.
Yeah.
Just making sure that hopefully they don't go by Huawei's wayside.
Yeah.
No, they'll be fine.
So
They're American-ish.
Yep.
ish.
No, they're
So
all states-based stuff. But yeah, it's again, It's not the cloud. It's somebody else's computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess here's the next question. And Thomas and I have talked about this a lot. Is there anywhere not United States where Tarana, you could see Tarana being a usable technology cost-wise?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think anywhere that
Well, cost-wise is the key. I mean, you look at the Philippines and that area. I mean, Microtech's absolutely massive there, and so is Ubiquiti
Right.
because of the cost.
Yeah.
And
But
they have low
if you sit
density.
down and you punch the numbers, and I'm not saying specifically for Tarana here, but if you comparing frequencies, if you have a product that operates in 5 gig and you have a product that operates in CBRS or in the 3.65 gigahertz band, your overall cost, generally speaking, is going to be lower operating in 3.65, even if the products themselves are significantly more expensive, because you have to deploy that much less of them.
So it's
And if the products are able to offer a higher speed, then you're able to deliver a better
it's
end
a
product.
more complicated discussion in most of the world.
Right,
Like,
because they don't have CBRS and what
yeah,
frequencies are
and
available.
dealing
so-
with frequencies and
Yeah.
registrars and like actually getting that license frequency
Right.
might be literally impossible.
Yeah.
And also sometimes speed is not the issue. If the only consideration is cost, which in like if we are talking Asia,
Well, and Channel David Todd here
Africa,
right now,
and
Right.
like all of
Not
the
just
South
speed, the latency.
America,
Yeah.
there is no chance. Even in Europe, like which Europe is, almost to the point of US comparing like per capita income and standards of living, blah blah blah. Even that is a very hard sell. Like I've told this story multiple times, but like in Slovakia, for historic reasons, the precedent is that internet is cheap. You can get a full gig service for 20 euros. That's like 25 bucks, right? And yeah, that's household residential. That's not a good gig,
Right.
but still they sell it.
Right.
And like if you compare that, then there's no way you can be.
I mean, you look at. I'm just going to use this as an example. Starlink. Starlink in the United States is roughly 120 for a standard
It's like
monthly
90 to
service.
120. Yeah.
Okay, you go to South Africa, it's 50.
Yep. Well, it's what the market will bear.
Right.
Is what it comes down to, and you have to be aware of
Yeah.
what is your competition in that market, and it may be that certain companies in the United States are charging X, but in other regions they're able to drop that, or they have to drop that cost significantly because
It's the same reason why coffee here is $80 a gallon,
yep,
because they get it.
yep,
They don't need to lower it because,
we'll pay it.
yep. So
So then, I think that was really Tarana's only announcement was the new CPE.
Yep.
Ubiquiti had a load of announcements as well. They've got their new GPON single port OLT, which is cool.
Yep.
And is that's XGS PON, right?
Not a fiber guy.
Yeah,
can tell you.
yeah.
I think it's XGS PON. And then they've got all their new Wave stuff. So.
Remember, Tommy, this is WISPA, not FISPA.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Fun fact,
Yeah.
there's more and more fiber companies.
we got to learn all about fiber and railroads this year.
Yeah. That was not as amazing of a talk as last year's guy, or with Oklahoma's guy.
You know, it's all about gigawatts. And I love it. I'm going to lean in all the way on that.
Gigahertz.
Gigahertz and gigawatts.
Yep.
Yep.
God, man, that dude. Was,
I know a number of operators that they had to cross rail lines with their fiber, and they just drill it.
Yeah.
They don't even request permission.
Oof.
And then they if they ever find out about it, which they're drilling in the middle of the line, not where, and they're 20 feet down,
Right.
and they're like, if they ever find out about it, then we'll go, oh, we're sorry.
Yeah.
And what's the old adage? It's better to ask for
beg
forgiveness.
forgiveness.
Yeah, beg for
Ask
forgiveness.
permission.
Yeah. And
If there's one entity in the U.S. that I probably would not want to cross, aside from the FCC, it's probably the rail lines, though.
Those guys have
They take
lawyers
stuff
and
personally.
money.
They're like the Nintendo of our industry. They would come sue you into oblivion.
Yeah, no, it would not be a good day. And, especially if some train accident occurred. You're not going to,
Oh yeah.
yeah, but if something occurred around there,
They're gonna find out.
they would find out and they would blame you. Whether or not it's your fault, you're going to have not a good day.
So Ubiquiti also had, I think they had some more MLO products on.
Yeah, they have 5, and they said they're releasing 5 gigahertz. So it's just like the LTU. It's coming out. It's the AC Gen 2 form factor.
Okay.
But it's coming out point-to-point mode only. It's a Wi-Fi 7 chipset.
Interesting.
In that. So it's coming out 5 gigahertz. That's coming out end of Q4 this year. And then they're saying Q1, Q2. Oh man, I wonder how long that stopped.
It just went off.
Yeah, but it's like every 30 minutes I have to go press the button or something like that. I forgot. I need to keep an eye on that.
Maybe we won't have talked about Ubiquiti's MLO then.
Does it stop the audio recording as well?
Yeah. Yeah, and what I should have just done is brought my laptop down and record the audio separate. And then just mix it all together in the end. Yeah. That's a nightmare to do.
Yeah.
Oh well. So back to Ubiquiti MLO. So 5 gigahertz. And they aren't doing 6 yet because let's see. Oh yeah, as I was making my joke is they aren't doing 6 because they don't know how to work with another company. Play nice. Ubiquiti can't play nice with anyone. And they're saying their excuse is that the FCC hasn't finalized 6 gigahertz rules.
Well, that sounds like Microtech. I mean, everything Microtech does is we're not going to touch it until everything's finalized, and then we might start working on it. And it's we got Wi-Fi 7 chips out now, and
To be
Microtech's still
fair-
just coming out with Wi-Fi 6 chips.
To be fair, remember the debacle with Wi-Fi N though, and it was like you had like 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi N routers, you had 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi N routers. That was such a colossal mess, and for the end user, it was not a fun experience.
Yeah,
So
but they're already pushing out Wi-Fi 7 chipsets.
Yeah.
So,
And Wi-Fi 8 chipsets are coming.
Yeah. But Ubiquiti doesn't have any.
Engineers are like, we don't need standards. We're just we do what we
It's
want.
pre-release. It'll be good.
Yeah.
Well, but it's a bit different because Ubiquiti, realistically, all of these new MLO stuff, it's Ubiquiti to Ubiquiti.
Right.
Microtech doesn't really focus anymore that much on like Microtech on the ecosystem. It's mostly their wireless is now in home stuff, and in home stuff you cannot.
You don't get to dictate what the other device is going to do.
You don't
have to
control
play
the
nice.
other end, so you have to have full standards.
Compliance. Right.
Yeah. So we could talk whether that's a good thing that Microtech has kind of forsaken like the fixed wireless gear and outdoor wireless stuff. Yeah, I don't like it. I enjoyed Microtech outdoors wireless, but I suppose if they don't want to push the envelope on the outdoor stuff, then it makes sense then for the indoor and the end user facing equipment. That strategy makes sense.
Yeah.
So, so Ubiquiti doesn't have 6 gigahertz yet, and that's not in the near future. So they say.
Well, they're still doing a tremendous amount of work on their Wave side
Yeah,
of things
Wave
as
is
well.
super,
As far as and I'm wondering if that's why they're taking the time to wait out 6 gig and whether they may even consider skipping 6 gig entirely, or Wi-Fi 6, I should say, and move to Wi-Fi 7 chipsets.
That's what
They
they're
already
doing.
have
They're-
Wi-Fi
yeah.
7 chips.
Right,
And they already
exactly.
have
That's what
7
they're doing.
APs.
Yeah,
Right.
everything is going Wi-Fi 7.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they were working on AX, but then they just were like,
Why?
Why?
We're gonna, by the time we have it out,
It's
Wi-Fi
just
7 will be
with
available.
MLO being standardized in 7, it's just easier.
But
you just
I've heard tremendously good things about their Wave point-to-point and point-to-multipoint.
yeah. So, and now you're getting external antennas with Wave. It's external 5 gigahertz antennas.
But can you GPS sync? Or can you turn
I
it
do not
off?
believe. Yeah, it's still not an AC radio on the inside. So
That is what has led us to forego deploying it, is the lack of ability to sync with all of your other 5 gig on the tower.
that's so frustrating.
It's just like I don't know how they anticipate carriers deploying in a noisy spectrum.
Hey, just replace all of your gear. Great for Ubiquiti.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the new their new MLO Wave. That and everything's Air Max is dead. It's all Wave stuff now. The new 5 gigahertz radio is not backwards compatible. Going back 2 generations is too much. The AX gear was in the demo, but
The other flip side is like 2 weeks ago they said that if anybody has their cloud Unify or whatever,
WISP.
now they're getting ready to charge for it.
Yeah, the free version, free
yeah.
cloud hosted version is going away.
No more free versions. So.
yeah.
Which you sit there and think about that. I would hate to ask how much they're paying
Right.
for all these servers.
Well, and I like seeing the fact that they're starting to offer support for Unify stuff, that they're starting to truly treat it as a services company, because the counterpoint to that is that us as the end user that's now paying for a product can actually have some skin in the game of saying, give me the things I want or I will stop paying for the product. And that's revenue that they will have lost, whereas historically it was not revenue that they will have lost. So it does give us a little bit more leverage as operators on guiding them to a better product.
And I don't want to...
Tommy's like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I was going to say as well. I don't want to... I don't want to, you know, not jinx, but I don't want to like talk too badly about Ubiquiti. But we all know their history, and yeah, it's nice that they are now back in the ISP market. But like just 5 years ago, they abandoned it completely. Like, and so with Ubiquiti's history of abandoning products and bringing stuff to market, if it doesn't work, then just going, screw it, we won't support it anymore. Like, I could name like 5 things Ubiquiti has abandoned on top of my head immediately, right? So I don't know.
Empower? No, what was it? It was.
There was the solar stuff.
No, it
there
wasn't
was
the
the
solar
access stuff. There was the
It was the access stuff. What was it?
The Empower
Was it
stuff, which
Empower?
was the
Empower stuff.
Yeah, you had like a little unit that had.
Yep.
It was basically
Then
like Unify Access. It was a precursor to Unify
Yeah.
Access.
But yeah, then all of the
we
camera
we
stuff.
tried Unify Access, and it's worked great for us.
Yeah.
I've got Unify Access stuff. I've got a Unify kit in my home that I've been playing with. And it's like just, I haven't found anything that works well.
I think the Unify product line is really well solidified. Like that's
Well,
what
and
the
you can see from their earnings reports. That's where the revenue's coming from. So
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not the ISP slash WISP slash fixed wireless stuff, right? And I don't know. I'm just afraid that now it's again Ubiquiti has decided that they will go into this market, but if it doesn't pan out, what happens in 3 years, 5 years? Will they still be interested? You know, so I don't know.
They just keep coming back every 3 years. Oh, here's our new
Every
product,
5,
so then you
yeah.
can forklift your network.
Yeah, you can just abandon everything and buy everything anew again. As I said, great for Ubiquiti's bottom line, not so great for us. And I'm not saying Ubiquiti will do that. I'm just saying...
Great for startup WISPs.
Yeah.
For 0 to a couple hundred users, that zero cost CRM, shaping, low cost products. I mean, we were talking about like, what will the market bear in the rest of the world is.
I sit there and I look at this. I look at it a little differently. Ubiquiti, Cambium, Tarana, all these products there's overlap, but they're just tools.
Yep.
You have a toolbox, and depending on each situation, you have to use the correct tool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you also have to think about longevity, though, right? Because, if you onboard yourself into the Ubiquiti ecosystem and you start using their everything, if they abandon it, you are stuck with so much work getting out of that ecosystem, which is unsupported anymore. So there's
There is a quicker ROI on some of those, but we're also getting in the weeds.
Yeah, we're getting in the ways of.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's been in this situation. The thing is a good portion of this industry exists because of Ubiquiti. And
that's absolutely true.
So and
can't fault that.
there's people who've gotten internet because of Ubiquiti, and there's people who have had jobs because of it. And so, as much as I love to bash on them,
Yeah, that's why I said I don't want
Yeah.
to bash too much.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
We hold them to a high standard.
we do.
Well,
We do.
they have definitely like merit, and there are things like you said.
Yeah.
We are thankful to Ubiquiti for, but at the same time, it's a love and hate relationship. You could
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
like, yeah, very much
Yeah.
so. Like we've seen their bad side as well, and it's like, yeah.
So I think that's mostly. So there's new 60 gigahertz gear. SFPs everywhere.
Yep.
Um,
Everywhere.
the new 5 gigahertz supposedly has SFP plus on it, so multiple gigs, and you can channel bond. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see that. Let's see what else new wise is in. There's that 60 gigahertz guys over by you. Who they actually have a really cool demo, or not demo, product for mobile 60 gigahertz connectivity inside buildings for like robotics and high speed telemetry. That's pretty cool.
Whatever happened to the light guys?
the-
Where you have a little AP up in the light,
Li-Fi.
and
Yeah,
it's and you
Li-Fi.
have a little receiver, and it gives you
I don't know.
high speed data connectivity.
Were they
using-
were they here? A couple
I
years
don't
ago?
remember, but I remember everybody saying, "Oh, everything's going to go to that. Everything's going to go to that."
There is a standard,
But-
it hasn't been picked up by
Yeah,
by anybody yet.
yeah,
I would say.
yeah.
Yeah, who wants to make an access point, a light bulb that can do that
Yeah.
high frequency?
Yeah.
Philip, you.
Yeah, Philip would love that, but the trouble is what phone has Wi-Fi
Right.
connectivity?
I don't know. I just
Yeah.
I
It'd be
seen
awesome.
a whole bunch of hype about that like 2 years ago,
And it all disappeared.
and yep.
Yep.
Well, they're developing it.
I did talk with, I stopped into a number of booths. Buy cells.
Oh,
They
they're still here.
Yep, they're still here. They have a number of, or they have a new product that's coming in, I think first quarter is what they were talking about. Or a 5G product lineup that's got, it's got carrier aggregation. I want to say it was like up to 100 megahertz that they could carrier ag.
Really?
And they're, I don't know if this is marketing rates, so
Well,
take that with a big grain of salt. But their marketing rates was like, it was like 860 or 870 down, and then I think somewhere around 70 or 80 up. So again, still focusing on the down heavily, just because of
I don't know why they're not doing 365 and 5 in doing the carrier aggregation, using those as downlink frequencies or downlink bands.
Yep.
I mean, that's
like
where
a
the
viable-
big carriers are. We've seen that on a few cell towers where literally you put up a 5 gig radio and it's decimated because they're transmitting 37, 38 dB because they don't have to listen.
Right.
They just transmit. They just blast out to get it to the CPE.
So carrier channel back is
Yeah.
the license.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah.
Eventually, I think we're going to see radios, and I think Tarana and Cambium are both probably going to be the ones that are going to be doing it. Where, we got 2, 4, 5 gig, 3, 6, 5, 6 gig, heck, maybe even a 60 gig radio, and they're just all on there. And if it can connect and if it works, doesn't have to be two-way.
Call that the moron.
They'll just use
call that the moron radio. Just keep adding more onto it.
Yeah. But I mean, when you look at the costs, and as long as you can do it,
Yeah. 100%.
That kills me a little bit in the how poorly the antennas are optimized. You have to build really complex, cool antennas just to get all those all in one.
or
one
just
radio.
hang 5 antennas on it.
I think it's just gonna look like a big pill.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just attach to the side of your house, and inside of it's like 6 different antennas and radios.
Yeah.
Ags it in through
This giant box.
There's just a switch on it that acts everything, and it's just a single SFP port. 10 gig SFP, and then the inside there's big old thick electrical cable.
Yeah. At night it glows.
Yeah. Throw Starlink in there too for the.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. You literally just have it as a hat on top. A little visor sticking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the local cats are just all over it. Oh, this is the best thing ever.
In the winter, there is like a 2 feet warm spot around
Yeah.
it, so it melts all the snow.
I found out my wife is currently growing a ginger beer starter. Like, cause you, like ginger beer, you have to do a starter for it and stuff, and like it's
Okay.
and you have to find a warm spot for it. And so the place that she found that's the warmest in the house is right next to my computing equipment. I'm just like,
Just chuck it inside.
Stick it in the rack.
Yeah.
my anxiety went through the roof because I was like, if this thing like decides to ferment and explode all of my electronics, it's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, that's
But-
that sounds like a wonderful.
That sounds like an upgrade.
actually, yeah,
It's-
actually, there you
You
go.
know, that's the way I'm gonna look at
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Thanks,
Make
honey,
sure
for
your
the new
backups
computer.
are good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Get one of
My
those.
poor Proxmox home lab.
Get one of those Ryzen, 700 core boxes or whatever the hell they got now.
Yeah.
So
Don't put the fermenting stuff on top of that one then.
yeah.
That's gonna be an expensive root beer.
I was going to suggest before Dennis said that, hey, this is an upgrade opportunity. His is way better, but my suggestion was, sounds like you have an opportunity to get your wife a fermentation box, a little heater deal.
There we go.
And you can just be like, hey, honey, I have a gift for you.
Here's this.
Aren't I the best husband ever?
For some reason, I don't think she's gonna see it that way.
No, it works out great. So I just bought her a giant hydroponic system.
You just
Got to be
shower-
enthusiastic about technology, right?
Yeah.
In every aspect.
And you still need to sacrifice your equipment storage for that.
Such is life.
She's probably worth it.
I'll eat healthier for it.
Right? Pros and
It'll
cons.
let me go to more WISPA shows through the years, right?
There you go. There you go.
And ginger beer.
I mean, homemade ginger beer, like you can't sleep on that. But yeah, I'm trying to think like what other. I don't know that I stopped into any other booths really.
There's actually a number of booths that aren't here, and there's a number of open spaces. I mean, last year
Super
everything was full.
It didn't
There was a
feel.
bunch of empty spaces.
There was-
Was
yeah,
it last year?
back-
Okay.
yeah.
But I
It-
mean, there seems like there's a lot more this year.
Anecdotally, that felt. Again, we're at the end of the show, kind of, so it felt like a fair amount of people. And
Yeah.
going into the keynote this morning, there was not a tremendous amount of people there. So I'm curious what the final count was for the show. I don't know if people are just
I don't have
so
access to
busy.
that anymore.
so busy with projects.
Don't they announce it at some point?
Yeah, they announced like 2.3K,
Is it?
2,300
Oh, wow.
supposedly
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
show.
Yeah, only 1.8 of them is vendors.
yeah. But
I will say, yeah, it does feel. There doesn't feel like there's the same energy.
and I'm wondering just how much of that is, at least in the U.S., everybody is just nose to the grindstone on all of the bead timelines that are coming out
Well, yeah.
next month.
So
Like,
something that
busy.
that I as a vendor have noticed is as a lot of these beads are coming up, there's a lot less spending. Everybody's focusing down on that. We also have an election coming up. There's lots of people that simply tells us we're not doing anything until the election. That way we know which direction we need to go.
Fair point.
And so we've actually seen a lot of that as well. And right now, there's just a lot of uncertainty in the United States anyway, in especially both BEAD and the election. So
I think it's important for the U.S. WISPs to be here talking to their advocacy members, because if you're not at the table, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the WISPA advocacy. Actually, that was the one talk that I was super excited about to go to. Was WISPA's Educational Institute. They are starting a 501c3 with a couple of committees on working on educational materials in general and best practices. And then there was another one, and I made notes and I can't remember what the third committee is, but it looks really cool.
Well, there's an advisory committee now for Women at WISPA as well.
Okay.
So I think they've officially been recognized as an advisory committee,
Okay.
which I would really appreciate if, like, I love having the Women of WISPA breakfast. They really need to make it a brunch. or a linner, as one of the members I was talking to said. Something that's a little bit more reasonable to attend.
Yeah.
I think they would have a much larger turnout of support.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was talking to my wife before coming down here, and she's like, why do I, like, what benefit do I get as a woman to go wake up early at a conference to go to breakfast?
Yeah.
Like,
You get free breakfast. That's about it. But
Yeah.
she's
But-
like,
and I don't
think
think it's breakfast. I think it's like snacks.
Yeah.
So
It has been nice seeing so I've you guys have probably been coming to more of these shows than I have. I'm the baby in the room, right? I've been coming to, I think this is my 10th show, or 10th WISPAPalooza specifically. I've been coming since 2015, I guess. And it's been nice to see more and more representation of women in our industry, and beyond just roles of CSR or human resources, is seeing them in operational capacities, seeing them in higher level roles, seeing them in C-suite roles in organizations. Hits me close to home because I've got 2 daughters, and I'm trying to show them, hey, this is an industry that you could go into. So,
I mean, I've been to literally every show that WISPA has
there you
had,
go.
and I remember the very first show, which was in St. Louis, and it was a whole bunch of geeks.
Yep.
Normal shit, different day.
Yep.
And now it's we didn't have any women. I mean, it was if there was like 1 or 2, that would have been about it.
Yeah.
And that's definitely changed. Now there's a lot of suits. There's
This is true.
and that's it's good. I mean, that shows the industry is growing up in the business community.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
well,
But we can't lose our technical desires either, though.
yes.
Yeah.
But so WISPA is considering, they're looking at opening up the talks, putting those online.
Oh.
Yeah. And then cataloging, they have all the slideshows and such. They're like, okay, well, we need somebody to go through and catalog all of these.
Sounds like a great job for a large language model.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Entrepreneuring programmer that loves using AI.
So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited to see that. See, there's been a bunch of different educational moves in the industry. So it's cool to see WISPA, which has some momentum,
Pushing on
trying to push. So we'll see where that goes. That'd be kind of cool.
Nice.
So, well, I need to get rolling, and
Yeah.
probably you guys need to as well.
More sessions,
Yeah, more sessions, more recordings,
more conversations.
more conversations.
go.
More standing at the booth,
Yeah.
which
All
comes with conversations,
Yeah,
of course.
this is very true.
Yeah.
yep.
Well, Thomas's booth has candy.
Yeah,
So-
good candy.
Hey,
He's
you're
got
right.
the-
He's got delicious chocolate.
yeah,
so-
I've tasted a lot of candy around. His is the
Yeah,
best.
yeah.
by
Thank
far.
So in the
I
future,
had to come
come to WISPA and get chocolate.
Yeah,
We always every year bring some European local
Ooh,
chocolates.
I like it. Yep.
So,
All right.
how to get a hold of you?
Sales@linktex.net, or give us a call. Linktex, www.linktex.net. Simple.
With me always, unimus.net. If there's live chat, if you ask for me, I'll be there.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Find me on LinkedIn. Yep.
People use that.
Or through
Yeah.
people use that. Or plug for the Brothers Wisp, the Slack channel. I'm
Yep.
in there.
Yep.
Constantly
Patreon.
asking people questions about Microtech.
Patreon.com/The Brothers Wisp. Throw some bones. You can join us on the Slack channel. There's a ton of really smart guys. Dennis, everybody in here is there. LostCreek.tech, Tommy, whatever, Patreon, brothers, thebrotherswisp@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. Be happy to chat with you.
Methodology, so sit back and
Roll from
start
there.
learning. Lighten up the tower so people can start searching. Shooting up the web in neighborhoods, net surfing. We got horrible jokes, we're loud and annoying, but we're informative facts, we're not disappointing. Just give us a listen, cause fun is the mission. I'm telling you, you don't know what you are missing. Ideas and some good comedy given. If you missed the show already, don't worry, you're forgiven.